Hi everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries and I use they, them pronouns. For today's episode, I'm going to be sharing some books with you for Disability Pride Month. July is Disability Pride Month to commemorate the passage of the Americans with Disability Act in 1990. And during Disability Pride Month, I'm just going to read you directly from the wiki page. Let's see. It seeks to change the way people think about and define disability, to end the stigma of disability, and to promote the belief that disability is a natural part of human diversity in which people living with disabilities can celebrate and take pride. Reading different statistics, some say like 1 in 6 people have a disability. And the thing about disabilities, like some of them you can be born with, some of them can take place over the course of your life. For example, you could contract an illness, you could be in an accident, which would leave you with a disability. So it can happen to you. So this is a good time to educate yourself, be aware, and I have a selection of books that kind of address some of this. And before we get into that, I also wanted to talk about the Disability Pride flag, which I'll show you guys right here. Okay, so it's got 6 colors, and the red stripe is for physical disabilities, the gold stripe is for cognitive disabilities, the white stripe is for invisible and undiagnosed disabilities. The blue stripe is for psychiatric disabilities. The green stripe is for sensory disabilities. And the gray background is a memorial to those who have passed on. So that is a little bit about the flag. And, there's all types of disabilities as we just went over. So these books I'll give you a little bit about the books and sort of the disability representation within them. I've got a link in the video notes to the original list, which comes from Tumblr. I'm on Tumblr all the time. So I get a lot of good book recs from there and a lot of good book lists. I also am going to have a link to the wiki article I just read from, and also the Disability Book Archives. You can look up books in there as well for specific type of representation you might want. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. First with some graphic novels. So we have Nimona, and there might be more in these books, more representation than just what I'm talking about, but this is the ones that were standing out. So one of our main characters has lost their arm. Not lost their arm was chopped off. So now they have a prosthetic arm. So Mooncakes, one of the main characters is hard of hearing and uses a hearing aid. Cosmoknights, one of the characters in this has a prosthetic leg. And there's a lot more books in the collection besides just these. I'll just go ahead and say that. I also had a video I did last year about the same topic. So there's different books in that video than what I'm talking about in this one. Then we have The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. One of the main characters in this has a seizure disorder, possibly epilepsy. Another one of the characters has a physical disability that develops throughout the course of the narrative. I'm pretty sure it's in this one. There's 3 books in this series. I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure it happens in this one, which leaves them with loss of hearing, like partial loss of hearing. Crashing Into You. This one I'm like so excited to read because it's about street racers, but one of the characters is autistic. Where You See Yourself, the main character is getting ready to head off to college, and she has cerebral palsy and she is a wheelchair user. Cemetery Boys, this one is fantasy. It's great. There's ghosts, there's magic, and one of the characters has ADHD. Iron Widow is not for the faint of heart. It's a futuristic, dystopian, action-filled story with mecha and people piloting them, and it's a lot. It's heavy, and you've got one of the characters uses a cane because of foot binding that has left her mobility. She just can't get around as well. And then another character is a wheelchair user. To Shape a Dragon's Breath, this is fantasy. There's dragons. Alternate historical setting, and one of the characters has autism, well, is autistic, and another character is a wheelchair user. Take All of Us. This one, I've not read yet, and I lost my sticky note, but one of the characters in this has epilepsy. One Killer Problem, Murder Mystery, and one of the characters has irritable bowel syndrome, I believe the main character. Then we have Breathe and Count Back from 10, and the main character has hip dysplasia, and then one of the supporting characters has depression. Then we have Venom and Val. So one of the main characters has scoliosis and hypermobility and uses a cane. And then another character has lingering mobility issues from an injury and uses a staff to get around. Time and Time Again. The main character has irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel disease. I'm sorry. Yes. And then Don't Be a Drag. The character has anxiety and depression. And then last two books. This one, Icarus. The main character finds out that he has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, which I'd never heard of before reading this book. So some of the symptoms of that is overly flexible joints, stretchy skin, fragile skin, and some of like the long-term complications with that includes like early onset arthritis and joint dislocations. And then finally, this one was on the list when the angels left the old country. I couldn't track down the specific disability rep in this book, but I believe it's there because every other book has that, like every other book on the list has that representation. So I believe it's in here, and this is also one of my favorite books, so I'm like, yes, we will include it in the video. So those are some of the books, and apologies if while I was speaking I said anything incorrectly. Just please feel free to make a comment if I did. And yeah, please check out some of these books, and we'll see you next time. Bye.